Good evening to have you folks here today. It's going to be an exciting show today. Welcome to Black Star Still Rising. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our guest a little bit in a minute, and she's going to come on, but I'll tell you her first name. I'll tell you your name first of all. Our guest is going to be attorney Anne Coggs-Smith. And this is going to be a very entertaining 25 minutes. It's going to go fast, so get your pencil and paper handy and be prepared to take notes. She's going to fill in so many things that you're going to be excited about. But I got to give you the right introduction, Anne. The right introduction is saying that I forgot. Attorney, I did say attorney, I did say Anne, I did say Coggins, I did say Smith, Coggs, and yes. I did say Esquire.
You can.
I can say Esquire to you now. She's a lady of many hats, and I'm going to just talk about a few of them. One, attorney, teacher, but educator, college professor, historian, legacy proponent that we're going to get into.
Sounds interesting.
Theologian, PhD candidate coming up. That's going to be coming soon. And she lives in the Chatham, Burnside area of Chicago,
Exactly.
and went to school here in Chicago too. Her title in here officially is the resident Black Star Elder. And
Yes.
I said Black Star Elder, not elderly. We're going to make that
That's
different.
right.
We are elders and not elderly.
Not elderly.
We're older, but not old.
Old. You've taken my words right out of my mouth.
That's right. We're going to talk about a number of things that have life skill implications, and I'm going to turn this over to Attorney Smith in a second. But there's a story, and I want you to tell this little story about one of the experiences with I think it was your godson, and the experience with him and being stopped by the police and what you had advised him about over the years. Can you tell us a little bit about that and that life survival skills that you started to teach your Anne?
It's been a passion of mine to make sure that the young people in my life know how simply to survive a police stop. Now, there are no guarantees, but there are certain things that you want to remember. And I've told my cousins, my nieces, nephews, godchildren the same thing. If you find yourself in a situation where you have been stopped by the police, maybe you didn't do anything wrong, but you're in the car. Maybe you didn't do anything wrong, but it was your cousin or that
Poochie.
good old boy down the street,
Yeah.
Poochie, gave you a ride. You didn't know he had stolen the car and was going to take it on a joyride. And so my godson in California, they called to let me know he and about 4 of his friends took a ride in one of their mother's Mercedes, black on black in black.
And
they were all young. They were in 15, 16, 17. And when they got to the bottom of the hill, coming down from where they lived, the police stopped them. I think they thought they had probable cause because they had the darkened windshields,
okay.
and it was so many of them in the car. And he said the police ordered all of them out of the car. And when they asked him, he said, I remembered, I told him my name, and I told him I wanted my lawyer, and I wanted my mother and father. And he said, where do you live, boy? He said, up the hill. He said, well, get out of here. And
Listen,
he took the
take
rest of the
notes
kids.
on that, please.
They took the rest of the kids to the jail. They were later released, but they took them in. And most of them were 16 and 17. He said, but it worked. And I wasn't hysterical. I was courteous. I just cried a little. But you have to be polite and courteous to the police.
Polite and courteous. What other tips that you
You
gave
want to give them your name,
Okay.
and then ask for your lawyer and ask for your parents.
I want my mama. I want my daddy.
And
you got that?
I want my lawyer.
And my lawyer.
Sometimes when mom and dad can't get to the police station, maybe you were in trouble or they picked you up, unless you ask for the lawyer that they sent until they could get there, the police won't let you speak to us. I have had situations where we were sitting in the police station
And that was your
waiting.
position as one of the things you held office and did.
Well, yes, as
juvenile
for a
advocate?
while, a private attorney, and I represented juveniles in certain cases, or even representing parents in trying to get their children out of the system. But I also represented sometimes their children who were in trouble with the law. And so if you don't know to ask for the lawyer, they can hold you for hours, either till your parents come, and even then, until you ask for a lawyer.
What's the other thing, keeping quiet, and how that
And
can
the
expose
other thing
you?
is to be quiet. Don't make statements. Don't, when asked, because you have a right to remain silent, remember that, and anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. There are times where you want to say, yeah, I was there, but. And what that yeah, I was there did was put you at the scene of the felony. And whatever happens during that time, if it was a murder, if it was drugs, if it was a stolen car, you're going to be charged as a co-defendant. So you don't want to say anything other than your name, and I want my lawyer, and I want my parents.
So you got to zip your lips.
In the Black Star program, the kids said, yeah, you got to shut your mouth. So that has been our theme, shut your mouth.
The message got across.
And be courteous and respectful, but shut your mouth.
Can we have, I didn't do my normal introduction, but I got to get my introductions in. My introductions are my thanks to the studio producers, Imani Payne and Ms. Santos, Rocio Santos, there, and also our executive director, Mr. Dillon. And cannot stop without thanking my associate producers. That's Dr. Mike Washington and Ellis Taylor. Thank you for all you do to help make these productions go on. I want to get into something, Anne, that you shared with me, and I get excited when I do my prep and talk to you.
I see,
We
yes.
talked for 2 hours.
We did.
And I get excited about so many things. Then I have to curate all these interesting things. Am I doing the Trump thing? Please forgive me if I'm not doing this.
Take your time.
Take my time and do it right.
Yes.
But anyway, I get so excited about the number of things that you're talking about. What excited me and piqued my interest, and I'm sure it's going to pique the interest of our viewers at the Atlas Senior Facility on 79th and Creekier.
Very good.
And also the Kroc Center. For you, I see you out there, everybody. Wave at, at Attorney Smith. Wave at it. We see you there. And you take notes, and you're going to pass some of this information on, right?
Yes.
Now, what excited me about what Anne was telling me was her mission, and the mission that she felt from God, from the universe, and that excites you, that's driven you. Tell me a little bit about that and how you phrase that about your mission.
Well, my mission, and everyone should have a personal mission statement, and mine is to educate, communicate, and facilitate positive assistance to people in need. And so that's pretty much directed my life choices, whether it was as a professor in teaching or guidance counselor or practicing law, and even working senior staff with the clerk of the circuit court. I've now retired from these areas and have answered the call to seminary. And I am a doctoral student now at McCormick Theological Seminary. They're now located on 54th and Cornell.
Right in the heart of Hyde Park.
Yes, my personal mission in life at this point is simply stated in the book of Micah, chapter 7 and the 8th verse, to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with our God, to do the things that God would do, not only for the widows and the children, but even for the strangers visiting in the land and any marginalized people.
And we're going to take that cue. I'm going to ask our studio producers to flash the screen on the screen what we sent you, what's here for you to, it's backwards for me, but I think you'll get an idea. You know that the sponsor for the Black Star Still Rising is Gloria Smith and the Black Star Project. And the founder, Philip Jackson. And what did Philip say? Educate or die. Educate or die. And thank you for flashing that. Take out your pencil. I got the phone number for you. If you didn't get that quick enough, it's 773-285-9600. If you have questions later on, that's one of the numbers you'll get. I'll give you my phone number too, 312-662-3106. You got your pencil and paper, you wrote that down. We're going to flash it one more before the end of the program. Now, and go back into your mission and some of the things that and I think one of the things that you failed to mention, that you're an influencer too.
Yes, I influence, encourage, whatever God would have me do. And one of the things that has been very positive is to join in the staff of Black Star. And I am honored to be the resident elder in the program. And I'm called Mama Anne or Mama Smith. And you may so do. I'm retired. Don't call me for practicing law. Please call me if you need referrals or if you want to know something about the program. Miss Gloria has continued the mission of her brother. And the thing that impressed me the most about Black Star was the collaborative approach to community education, community economics, and all of the different partners, including yourself, with Black Star.
Tell us specifically about some of the programs, the ones that you're involved in.
Some of the programs we have, and I am what is called a director of leadership. We have various programs. We are working in Maywood with the Senator Lightfoot's program there on Saturdays for the children who are 12 and up, 11 and up. And then we also have our program at the Black Star office in Bronzeville on 35th off King for the younger children's, also on Saturdays. And the wonderful thing is these programs are free. The young people and the parents, because we do have a parents' table and we get together and answer questions that parents might have about their children or just about life. And the whole atmosphere is one of sharing and caring and educating our young people to get them ready as the leaders of tomorrow.
And this is so important. You know that Black Star Project is a program that's intergenerational.
Yes.
And Anne was talking about the ages, and not only the ages of the kids and things that they do, but the parents are involved and you bring them into the equation too to be a part of it.
And they can bring them and drop them off, but what begins to happen is over time, many of them will stay or come and go and stay, and we'll talk with them and they get to see what's happening with the young people.
Now we're going to talk a little bit too about some of the specific things that you talk about, at least you've shared with me, about promoting excellence. Now what is it that Black Star Project does in promoting excellence in education? Because we're going to talk about some other areas too.
And it's always, Black Star has always been a program promoting excellence in education, which is different, in my opinion, from teaching. In educating a child, you take the child where he is and brings him to where he or she needs to be in order to perform with excellence, not only in the classroom, but also teaching them social skills and life skills.
Survival skills.
Survival skills. One of the things that I would always talk to the children about is that you have a duty to help save your own life, to not only be obedient, but do the things that will keep you alive. Stay woke, children. Make sure that you understand that not all of your friends and even some of your family members are out to do you good. Some may even have criminal intent. And you have to pay attention, and when those things do occur, you need to I call it moonwalk off of them, back up off of those relationships. You need to tell someone, and you need to be very careful about being around individuals that you know, I don't want to say it like that, but it's just the truth, are up to no good.
What about you?
So-
Told me too about what to avoid the bunch. Tell me about the story
We
about
have
the bunch.
a saying, and my good friend and mentor James Adams calls it, he says, and black children need to know the 11th commandment. And I said, well, what is that? He said, thou shalt not bunch. You know, when
Explain
you get,
what
when you get a
bunch
group
is.
of kids bunching together on the corners, in the park, it will draw attention most of the time, especially if
Of the
it's
popo?
young black men. And unfortunately, the popo may stop you on the street. And again, when stopped, because you fit the description or you might be walking while black, and that's males and females, you want to be careful about where you're walking, with whom you're walking, and if the crowd gets too big, you just might want to go home or
that
leave it so that you can survive to walk another day.
That is a life skill that you continue living, to have that skill for living.
And so we want to know what's happening and how to prevent certain things from happening to the youth. You need to make sure that you educate them at home on how to treat everyone with courtesy and respect, and also what to look for and what to see. I talk to the girls and to the boys when you're shopping at the store. We don't hang out at the malls anymore, but when you're shopping with your friends, be careful about what's happening while you're there. Some of your friends, quote unquote, may invite you simply because you don't have a record or you're a good kid and you don't know that while you're walking down those aisles,
They are pocketing something in their purses.
they're
their
either
pants, or
pocketing in
whatever.
their purses
Yes.
or they might even put it in your bag, knowing that because you don't have a record, you know, you might just get a little pat on the hand by the police and be left alone. So you want to be careful of where you are and with whom, and listen to your parents because many times they have a feel for it. They might say, well, don't go out with so-and-so. You know, and I know how that is. I used to hate it when my mother would or father would point out certain friends. But your parents know best.
Now, you told me about another concept that I thought quite interesting. You said social justice and nimble Christianity. I'm going to
you
bring it
heard
back
that.
to you. Oh, yeah, I heard you.
We're
Good.
currently in the doctoral program at McCormick. We've been taking a course called Nimble Ministry, being flexible in ministry and using design theory not to box people in, but in this case, designing programs to deal with the injustices in our, not only in our churches, but in our community. And so it might be a youth center. It might be succession planning. Certain folks are dealing with isolation in their churches, isolation in the community. How do you address these problems in a transformative way? That means to cure injustices that you see. And where Micah has instructed us, the prophet, he instructed God's people to do justice, not just talk about it, but to do it. And so where you see injustice in your area,
Don't worry about it.
you have you have a Christian duty to help fix it.
I want you to also address one of the interesting things, too, and that's the legacy and maintaining a legacy. And as I saw it, is if you don't keep the legacy alive, it's going to die by neglect. That's what it's. Talk
that's
about your
good.
experiences with maintaining a legacy and passing on tradition. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing in that area.
Yes, our family has been a part of a very exciting program. We call ourselves the Coggs-Richardson's group. It's not a family reunion, but we have come together as cousins, second and third and fourth generation, to not only get to know each other from around the country, but to get to know our history. And
you trace your history back
it's
where? How far
important
back?
to write the history down for the next generations.
Got to write it down.
In
You
this
got to
case,
record it.
my paternal side, my father's father, or as Sister Gloria tells us, her uncle Vincent Hardy said, ask people to give you the name of their mother's mother and where they lived.
He said a little bit more poetically. He
And,
said, tell me your mama's name.
Tell me your mama's
Tell me your
name.
mama's mama.
And so,
That's Vincent Hardy, boy.
we have as a group been telling our stories with each other, our father's names. And my grandfather, Tandy Washington Coggs, was the son of Tandy C. Coggs. Now, he says that C didn't mean anything, but
You just threw it in there.
Tandy, his father, had 21 children. And my
Prolific.
father's mother, based on 2 marriages, and my father's mother had 13 children by Tandy.
Wow.
And my grandfather was the 11th or 12th of her 13, but he was in that line. So when you have a line of 21 kids, and after emancipation, folks left their plantations and went in their own directions, it has been quite a feat to get us back together. And so the Coggses, and if there are any of you out there with the Coggs name, we
Raise
know
your
you're
hand.
related.
Okay.
And the Richardsons in
How should they
Kansas
contact
City.
you?
They can call me at 312-888-1364.
Or you can call me and I'll project
Please.
that to you.
Yes. I want everybody
I
call.
can't let you get away without talking about how theology, and you're going into getting a doctorate in theology, how it impacts you with the community and community issues. And you told me a little bit about that, but share that and how that's transformative.
With a doctorate, not only do you do the research of a purely PhD degree, but you have to come up with transformative solutions that will affect your church and the community.
Talk about that transformative solutions, please.
If you see an injustice, you want to fix it. Now, I'm blessed to be at a church, Progressive Beulah Pentecostal Church, where our mission is to restore broken lives. And to that end, we have a model now addressing the needs of the youth and seniors in the Auburn-Gresham district.
Now, speaking of youth,
Yes.
I want you to talk about
the
that
Progressive
conflict
Manor
resolutions.
Youth and Senior Community Center is being built right there on 87th and Elizabeth. And hopefully, it is going to address many of the needs in the community, not only for education, not only for transformation, but transforming the lives of seniors and youth in that area.
Talk about some of
And
those quick things. We've got a few minutes. Conflict resolution.
Resolution might be
Justice.
one.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a gym so
Talk
that
about
the
the
young
leadership.
people can come and live and play safely in our gym. And hopefully we're going to be able to train tomorrow's leaders today, teaching them leadership skills and how to live in our society in peace.
You talked about that with me, and some things resonate with me. You talked about protect them from themselves and those who they need to be protected.
Leaders
they need to protect.
Must be nurtured, directed, and protected. Not only nurtured so that that will help them overcome much of what's going on in their community, they need mentoring and direction, and then they need protection, not only from what society is doing, but protection from themselves. And so all of these interactive ways that the church and the community can come together to benefit our youth is what I'm passionate about.
Now, we've given you, it's like in a box of cherries, a box of chocolate, I'm saying. So many things to choose from, but there's so much more left. Raise your hands. How many more want to have Anne back again? I think you got almost unanimous. These folks at Crocs and Atlas, they want you back again. So I'm asking you now, will you come back with us when we can find?
Certainly. I didn't. The time went so
Did not
fast.
55.
And
I mean
you
25.
are really excellent at what you do. Isn't he smooth?
Oh boy.
And he's able to just move the conversation and make it relevant.
It's
So
been
I'll be
relevant.
happy to come
Yeah, I
back.
hate to cut you so many things that you can talk about and that's so much depth. But you got the numbers. Call us, write us. blackbutterfly1940@gmail.com. That's my email. 312-662-3106. Tell me your phone numbers again for at Black Star 773.
Yes.
285-9600. The Black Star Project is where you want to be, where you want to get involved with. We're getting ready to wrap up the show, but I hope you took good notes. And I'm glad that Mama Ann, they call you
They
Mama
call
Ann?
me Mama Ann, Mama
Okay.
Smith, and the programs are free. And
Oh,
I
that's
tell
a
you,
good
they
buzz.
feed
That
the
F
young
word
people.
is good.
So they will have a good time, and we also look out for the parents. So come join us on Saturdays at Black Star, either in Maywood or downtown. We start the programs at 10 o'clock, and you have until noon, maybe a little later, to have your children in a constructive program where they can learn and grow.
Mama
And I
Gloria,
thank
thank you for recommending her for today's broadcast. This has been exciting, but so much more to come. Thank you. We're wrapping up today. Glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.